Yay, we're live! Okay, so if you guys caught me live earlier today, I showed you the black licorice bats that I made last night. And we're going to do a strawberry licorice version tonight. So I'm pretty excited. So the first thing I'm going to do is pop these out of here so that we can use this mold for our next set. And you guys can check them out again. I didn't originally make a video because I wasn't sure how they would turn out. I had an idea, and you know how that goes. Sometimes it pans out really, really good. Sometimes only a little bit good. Sometimes it's amazing. And these ones turned out amazing. Spoiler alert. So if you're familiar with soft licorice or a chewy style licorice, that's about the texture that these are. So almost like a wine gum. I'm going to cut this one so you guys can see. And I'm going to eat just a little taste of that. And then I'm going to show you how I did the black licorice. And we're going to do it in a strawberry licorice version instead. So that's what it looks like. I was going for the texture of a Turkish Delight. And I definitely got that one. But if you like a soft, chewy wine gum, that's about the texture that we're looking at. And this one I made with the black licorice. So yummy. So we're going to set these ones aside. And I'm going to show you guys how I built them. So I started by melting my Coco Polo chocolate. And this is the dark chocolate. So we got our nicely melted dark chocolate. I didn't add any coconut or oil or anything, just the chocolate, and melted that. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to coat our mold, and we want to get it all the way across the top and the bottom, all the sides. So we're going to start with putting a little bit of chocolate in there. And then for me, the way that I find to do this easiest, I'm going to turn it so you guys can see how I do this. So first I tap it down so that we get a good coverage of chocolate on the bottom. And then I take my spoon and I just slightly pull up the chocolate to each of the sides. And then the same thing on this side. I'm just kind of pulling the chocolate to the top of the mold so that you get a good full coverage. I'm hoping lighting wise you guys can see that pretty good. So I'm going to quick do those, and I'm curious how your guys' week is going. There's going to be a few spaces in between here that we'll have time to chat. So if you guys want to tell me how your week is going and what you've been up to, are you excited for Halloween? Do you love Halloween as much as I do? Do you love licorice as much as I do? So we're going to get these all filled in. And I might not do them all to show you guys. I might just kind of do this as a process so that we can kind of get on our go and get on to the next step. So what I'm going to do is I'll fill 3 of these. That way we don't end up spending so much time just watching Dory play with chocolate. Although, how relaxing is that? Like, how much do you love just watching somebody play with chocolate? I'm just saying, I do love chocolate. And if you haven't tried Coco Polo, you need to. Like, I can't even describe to you how amazing quality their chocolate is. So, now that we've got 3 of our bats fully coated, and you can see we've got coming up all the way up the sides, we're going to pop this into the fridge, and we're going to start the licorice mix. Now, what I did last night was the black licorice. I'll let you guys see that again real quick before we get started on the next licorice. Now, what I did was I looked up a recipe for Turkish Delight, and then I did nothing that that recipe said. Basically how that worked. Turkish Delight is water, sugar, and cornstarch. So I thought, okay, how can I how can I adjust that? So we're going to start with gelatin, and we're going to use 1 tablespoon or 2.5 teaspoons, however you prefer to measure it out. So we're going to take 1 tablespoon of gelatin. I'm going to add some strawberry flavoring extract. For last night's, we did the star anise black licorice. So we're going to add some strawberry flavor. Let's get them nice and strawberry. Then we're going to add sweetener of choice to taste. Last night I used this one, and I used probably about 3 squirts. But you want to check this to your flavor preference. I'm going to turn my water back on to boil. You want your water to be freshly boiled. And I'm going to add a little bit of red food coloring. The gel color will give you the deepest, darkest red, but you can also do this with just a standard liquid color as well. So I'm going to add a little bit of that color. And then we're going to add 1/4 cup of boiling water, which will actually bring it up to the 3rd mark once we have everything all in there. And we're going to give that a good mix. So I know the texture that gelatin gives me, and I thought, okay, what extra texture am I looking for inside of a Turkish Delight? Because it's not quite gelatin. It's thicker than a gelatin would be. So I'm going to share with you what the secret ingredient is. First, we're going to take this and we're going to pop it in the microwave for 30 seconds just so that the gelatin is really well incorporated and melted. So 30 seconds. And while that's doing that, I will get things all set up to do our next step over here so that you guys can see. Oh, and there's our chocolates that we're making again. Okay, 10 more seconds. Almost done. I'll be right back. Okay. So that bubbles up nice to make sure that all of our gelatin is really well incorporated. And then I thought, what can I substitute cornstarch with to give me that texture that I want? So I decided that we would use xanthum gum. So we're going to take just a sprinkle of xanthum gum. And then I'm going to use my milk frother, and we're just going to whip it up together to give us that really nice bubbly texture that we want. And I'm thinking this looks a little pink. I might add a little bit more food coloring because we want it to be a really nice deep red. So I'm going to grab just a bit more food coloring. We definitely want this to be a red recipe, not a pink one. So I'm just going to whip in a little extra red there. There we go. That's closer to the color that we want that to be. And it's just going to kind of foam it up a bit. I don't know if you can see the difference in the texture, but it makes it thicker. So we're going to whip that up like that. And then we want to pop this into the fridge just to chill until it's cool. If we were to pour hot gelatin into our chocolate, it's all gonna melt. So I'm gonna pause here and I will come back in about 10 minutes. I'm gonna tidy up a little bit. We need to chill this. I'm gonna finish filling in our chocolate molds so that when we come back, we'll finish filling them up. We're back for part 2. So we have our chilled bat molds, and then our licorice mixture that has partially chilled. So I'm going to fill inside of the bats, and we're going to top it with chocolate, and that's it. It can be that quick and easy and simple to create or recreate the things that we want to have each season. Now, ideally, I should have started filling these when they weren't quite as chilled. So I let them chill for about 15 minutes. Ideally, I would have wanted it to chill for about 10 minutes, but it's going to work out just fine. When I did it with the black licorice, I was able to kind of pour it in there a little bit better. Now, my other option is I could also reheat this up a little bit and then cool it down again to get the better texture, but I'm not so worried about it. I think it's going to turn out just fine, and I think they're going to look lovely. And once I get these all filled, I'll take out the black licorice ones again to show you guys real quick. Now, these do need to chill overnight, so I won't be able to get any pictures for you guys until tomorrow. But I will take a bunch of nice pictures and post it with the full recipe for you guys tomorrow so that you can see. Now, I'm also going to take the extra that I have, and I'm just going to put it into a little loaf pan, and I'm going to make little licorice nibs out of that because I have more here than I need to fill my little bat mold. So I'm going to grab myself just a little mini loaf pan, and we're going to pop the extra in there so that I can make a few licorice nibs tomorrow as well. And we can probably do a chocolate coating on them as well if we like. So we're just going to spread that out in the bottom of my little loaf pan so that as that gets solid, I can cut it into little nibs tomorrow. So I'm going to smooth this down a little bit, and the easiest way to do that is to get a warm knife. So I'm just going to run a knife under some hot water. Should have made the water hot first. This is taking longer than I thought it would. Oh, goodness story. Okay, so then we're just going to smooth these down in there a little bit. And again, if I had taken this out when it was a little bit less chilled, I think that would have worked a little bit better. And then we're just going to top them off with the chocolate, and we are all ready to go. So I'll show you how I'm going to top off one, and then I'll finish these up. And tomorrow you guys will get some good pictures of them. And I'll pull out the black licorice one to show you again. So you just want to fill in your chocolate on the top. And that's how we do them. So I have my black licorice ones here. I put them into a bag in the fridge. But I'll take out the one that I cut open so you guys can see the really nice jelly texture of that. So stay tuned, and tomorrow I will have the full recipe up for you guys on my page. I can't wait to show you. Bye, guys.